Since the existence of network marketing, home meeting has been a proven strategy to build huge organization and a successful organization. So welcome to our lesson by Pro Networkers team of how to conduct and host a home meeting. Enjoy! Alright, my name is Nazrul Salim. Welcome to this short video lesson of how to conduct and host a home meeting. So the first question for you is that you will be asking, why should I watch this video and why must I conduct or host a home meeting? You see, like I said in the earlier part, the industry of network marketing has been here, alright, over 60 years. See, home meeting has been the best strategy, one of the best strategy to build a successful and huge organization. So in this short video clip, I'm going to have a lesson together with you. We're going to learn together on 5 parts. Number 1, we're going to talk about the purpose. Why I must conduct or host a home meeting. All right. So number 2, we're going to talk about the preparation, which is before conducting or hosting a home meeting, what are the preparations for me to do? And then the third part, we're going to talk about the pre-home meeting preparation, which is for the host, what I need to do during, before I start the presentation, and then talking about for the presenter, what I need to do. And then the fourth part of this lesson, we're going to talk about the presentation agenda, all right? What is the structure, the step-by-step, what I should do and what I should not do. And then the last part, we're going to discuss about what are the common mistakes that people do, all right, during the home meetings. So what is the main purpose for you to conduct or host a home meeting? So number 1, it offers a good opportunity for actually for you to sponsor new distributors. All right. So again, why sponsoring a new distributor? Remember, it's not just by your own running the whole business. You need to multiply yourself. So in network marketing, you need to sponsor in order to multiply the business. All right. The second part, we're talking about for you, an opportunity for you to show your new prospect or your new downline or business partners of how you conduct or host a home meeting. When they can see what you do, it multiplies. Remember, the key word here for network marketing is duplication. What you do is what they will do. And then the third part is for you to give an opportunity for you to promote your products and also build a big consumer base. All right. So remember this. In building a network marketing business, it's the 80-20 rule, which is the 80% will be your consumers and 20% will be the distributors. So home meeting gives you an opportunity for you to build your consumer base. All right. So the fourth part, we're talking about building relationship with the sponsor, new partners, and also the invitees. All right. So the fifth part, let's talk about. It offers for you to spread the message of a business opportunity that helps people to achieve financial freedom. Definitely, we are here not just by selling, we want to sell the product itself, but we are here to actually spread. There is an opportunity for the people to actually change their life, and home meeting offers that platform. So it also helps to increase retention rate in your organization. So again, where does this point come? It talks about when there are signups, there are people buying the products in a home meeting. All right. So that means I need to say your downlines or yourself will have bonus. So when you have more bonus, the probability of you quitting the business is lesser. All right. So then, talking about the seventh point, we're talking about build a good training field to increase more speakers and trainers in your organization. So when you talk about big talks, probably catering for 200 or 500 people. So most of the distributors for newcomers, new distributors, they'll be afraid to be standing in front of a stage and then presenting the opportunity. But a home meeting with a smaller crowd, it gives a better opportunity for most distributors. All right. And the last part, it gets new distributor to start the business immediately because it is a low cost strategy. So when you compare conducting or hosting a home meeting versus holding up a big talk in a hotel, in a ballroom, and so on. That means if you can see home meeting, you don't actually need a lot of cost, just some snacks, some food to give for for your guests, I think it's a minimum cost. So for a new distributors to start doing a home meeting, I think it is affordable. So now let's talk about the home meeting preparation, the date and time. So the moment you have set the date, the best person for you to invite as your presenter would be your own upline, or a person who is long enough in the business, who knows how to maneuver in the business and is well versed in the business. It's good for you to call your upline or this presenter itself to come to your house and you be the host. So I'm not saying that you can't do the presentation at home. It's better to call someone that your guest doesn't know, a third party. There is a saying, don't be a prophet in your own village. So that means set the date and time, get the presenter, the moment you lock the date, all right? So I would advise the best date to do a home meeting would be a weekend, probably a Saturday, a non-working day, probably Saturday afternoon or evening, or Sunday morning, or even Sunday afternoon. So I would advise not to do a home meeting during a working hours, all right? So in order for you to get more guests coming into your house, it's good for you to conduct during, a non-working days. So there are a few things I just want to remind you, never to do a home meeting during birthdays. You know, I mean, I've had my fair share. You know, I got somebody who invited me before during birthday. It doesn't work. Let me remind you, do not do a home meeting concurrently together with a birthday celebration, or probably an anniversary celebration, or probably some other events together with a home meeting. I would advise that if you want to have a good home meeting turnout, or I should call it an almost perfect home meeting, it's good to just have the home meeting by itself. All right, now let's talk about the invitation itself. This is the preparation before the home meeting. I think the home meeting is one part, but the most important part in having or hosting a home meeting, a good home meeting, would be the invitation itself. It lies down back to your invitation. So the first part, prepare the list of prospect. So like I've said in my seminar so many times, the numbers in your list equals to the numbers of invitation. The numbers of invitation equals to the numbers of prospect. The numbers of prospects equals to the numbers of sign-ups, and the numbers of sign-ups equals to the numbers of business builders, and the numbers of business builders equals to the numbers of great leaders. So it boils down back to your list of names. All right. If the person, one of the things that I would advise to you is do not prejudge or assume them. All right. If you think that they are the most negative person, invite them. If you think that these are the people who doesn't like to eat supplements, invite them. Whoever they are, invite them. In order for you to have, I would advise, if you want to have 5 people in your home meeting, it's good for you to invite at least about 20. If you want to have 10, probably you invite 30, probably invite 35 or 40. All right, the more you invite, all right, the higher the probability of these people that will come to your home meeting. Now the second part is for you to make the invitation. All right, I would like to share with a quote for you before you even call them, or even before you SMS them, messaging them. All right, I would like to share with you with a quote that I always use from the moment I start network marketing. Before I call my prospect, if you fear the unknown, always remember, if there is nothing to lose by trying and plenty to gain if successful, by all means try. Invite them. You don't know who your great leaders will be. You don't know who your customers will be. All right. You don't know who will be your downlines, your distributors. Who will be the people that will help you to build your empire. You don't know. So the second part is to make that invitation. All right. So how do you make your invitation? We have our PNT kit, part of our PNT kit, which is the memory jogger. Open up that memory jogger. All right. It will help you in the dialogue step by step, and 8 steps of how to invite a warm market or even a cold market prospect. So again, let me remind you, open up that memory jogger. It will help you, a guideline, a step by step, and 8 steps of how to invite this prospect. You will have an idea. You'll have an idea. So the third part is the confirmation. So that means once you have list down your prospect, the second part, you have make that invitation. So 2 to 3 days prior or before your home meeting, I would advise that you call them again, or you SMS, or you message them again. Are you coming? Just to get confirmation of how many guests are you expecting on your home meeting day. Now we have come into the third part, which is the pre-home meeting preparation. So I'm going to talk about what the host need to prepare, and then the second part I'm going to talk about what the presenter need to prepare. So for the host, all right, number one, you need to prepare simple refreshment and drinks for your guests. I mean, you don't need to prepare heavy dinner or something like that. Just, you know, maybe light snacks and so on. So it's easy for not just for you, but for your downlines who have come into your home meeting, and when they see, you know, you just have to prepare simple refreshment or simple snacks. So it's easy for them to duplicate, and they don't fear, you know, they are not afraid to be conducting or hosting a home meeting. So the second part is for you. You need to dress up well for the meeting. 50% battle worn with a presentable appearance. Remember, you are not going for a black tie event or receiving a Grammy Award. So keep it tidy and smart, but don't overdress. Neither are you heading for a beach, so avoid wearing short t-shirts and slippers. All right. So the third part will be providing the right numbers of seating arrangement for the guests. I remembered somebody, you know, arranging about 30 to 40 chairs, just like an auditorium, you know, conducting a seminar. I would advise it for you to just, you know, probably add up 3 to 4 more chairs, extra chairs in your living room for the home meeting itself. All right. And then the next one, if you are using the television for the presentation, this is important. All right. Make sure that necessary cables, all right, and are prepared, and make sure that the guests can see the slideshows during the presentation itself. All right. Here's the slideshow that if you are using your iPad, if you're using your laptop, or probably if your guests, there are less than 5 guests, I would advise that you just you can just use the PNT kit, the entrepreneur kit, just to do the home meeting. All right. The next one will be preparing product samplings, brochure, signing up forms, and others. So I mean, talking about the forms or the brochures, I would advise, my advice would be not to take out, you know, to show them before the presentation starts. It's good to just hide it first, you know, probably before the end of the presentation, then you can just show up all the brochures, the sign-up forms, and so on. All right, prepare it midway through the presentation would be good, or maybe towards the end. This is to avoid actually scaring the prospect away. The next part will be prepare the PNT Entrepreneur Kit for closing or further questions from prospects upon completion of presentation. It actually serves to ease the presenter's preparation, as he or she can use your kit for the whole meeting. All right. I mean, you don't expect the presenter itself to bring everything to your home. It's good, you know, because you are hosting the home meeting. I would advise it would be better for you to prepare the brochures, the sign-up forms, the product samplings, everything. All right. So now it's the preparation for the presenter itself. So if you are using a projector for the presentation, make sure that there is a wall space or screen to project. And then second part is be presentable. You represent the business. Avoid t-shirt, jeans, and clothing that may be too casual. I mean, you are helping your downline, you're helping somebody who is hosting the home meeting itself, and you as a presenter, it will be good for you to present yourself well. Again, the third part will be prepare your electronics and spare cables. Your downline or the host itself may not have the correct length or inputs or whatever. So always be prepared. So it's good to have 2 to 3 cables rather than no cables. I mean, maybe if you are using your iPad to connect to the television, if you're using your laptop, it's good sometimes if the host itself doesn't have it, it's good that you as a presenter bring it together in the home meeting. And then the last part, if there is a less, like I've said in the earlier part, if you as a presenter, if there are less than 5 guests attending that home meeting, it's good that, you know, you don't need to use the projector, you don't need to use the television. Probably you can just open up the PNT kit, or probably your iPad or your laptop. From your laptop, then probably you can present from there. Now we have come into the fourth part of our lesson. So the fourth part, we're talking about the presentation agenda. So it is good that before the presentation starts, it's good that as a presenter or as a host itself, you know, don't leave your guests just sitting down in the living room. It's good for you to mingle. And then for the presenter itself, probably it's good for you to get to know more about your guests. For the host itself, it's good for you to catch up, for you to prepare them what is going to happen in a while, you know, so that your guest doesn't feel awkward during that whole meeting itself. So second part you're going to talk about is start on time. I mean, if you have invited your guests and saying that, you know, they should come by 3 p.m. example, so make sure at least you can start by 3 or probably half an hour after that, 3:30 p.m. Not too late, you know, so that your guest doesn't have to wait that long. So once everything is ready, it is good for the host. If you are the host, make sure maybe probably you can just prepare some scripts, you know, how to tee up the presenter itself, or probably some words of welcoming to your guests, you know, to start up the whole presentation. It is good for you to warm up, have some practice at home before even you conduct or you host the whole meeting itself. So get some information about the presenter itself. You know, probably you can have some 4 to 5 pointers about the presenter, so that it's going to ease actually for the presenter to actually present the presentation itself. I would advise during the presentation itself, it would be good for you to maybe check if there is some disturbance. Probably the kids are playing in the room, the kids are playing in the living room. So it's good before even the presenter comes in to present, it's good to, you know, put aside all the distraction. Probably the radio you should switch off first, or probably the television or whatever distraction, so that the guests can concentrate on the presentation, and it is the presenter itself to do the presentation. And then during the presentation, probably before the end, if there are other business partner or your downlines or your group members who comes over to your home, it's good to give them an opportunity to share their stories, probably some product testimonials, probably some success sharing. So that gives a plus point in that whole meeting presentation itself. So probably after the presentation about the product, the company, and so on, remember, I've repeated so many times, don't forget to share the plan. The secret to duplication, the secret to multiplication is to share the plan. All right? So don't be afraid to share the plan. It is good if, you know, you have a small whiteboard, you know, for the home in the home meeting itself. Or if you don't have a whiteboard, it's good. Maybe probably you can just buy a big white paper, or they call it a mahjong paper. Probably you can use a blue tack to put in any side of your wall, which is easy for the guest to see, easy for the presenter to present. So like I've said just now, I repeat after the before the end of the presentation, all right, if you want multiplication and duplication to happen, present the plan. So before the closing, it is good, you know, to have a short question and answers session. So probably you know, your guests, you know, might have some doubts or some queries about the product or the business itself. So probably the host itself, himself or herself, or probably the presenter can help to answer their questions. So the last part would be the closing part. Don't be afraid, you know, to give them the sign up form. Don't be afraid to ask them, all right, what can I do to help? So do you love the product? So how do you see the business opportunity? Do you think this whole opportunity can be an opportunity for you to retire young, or probably a financial plan or plan B for you, you know, that kind of things. So don't be afraid to do the closing, all right? Just get their identification and then sign it on the DAA form, distributor application form, all right? All right, so before we end this home meeting video, all right, this lesson video, we're going to talk about the last part, which is what are the common mistakes that people do during the home meeting, all right? So the first part, not preparing a long list of possible prospects and confirming their attendance. So probably, you know, you don't have guests coming into your place. Probably you have only 2 guests coming to your place. Probably you should just retract back and then look at how many calls have you made, or how many lists of prospects actually have you listed down. So if you have listed down only five lists of names, and probably that is why there's only 2 or 1, or probably nobody turned up to your home meeting. All right, like I said again, the numbers of people or people coming to your home meeting depends on the numbers of lists. If you want 10 people to come to your home meeting, make sure that, you know, you want 10 to come to your home meeting, make sure that you have probably 30 to 40 people that you invite. All right. So the second part, the mistakes that people do is not training the host the best way to invite people and how to make a successful presentation. So For the host itself, I think for the presenter or the upline, it's good to prepare them. It's good to sit with them. It's good, probably get the memory jogger to sit with them, and probably teach them, give them that first few trials, to invite their prospect. Probably when they are familiar with it, they have overcome that fear, it will be better for them to invite the next few prospect. So remember, my advice would be, if your host, is too afraid to invite people, it's good that their upline sit together with them and open up their memory jogger and help them with the invitation. Like that is a saying, facts tells and story sells. All right, so don't be afraid to actually share your stories. One of the most common mistakes that people do during their home meeting is not to share their own stories. Remember, your story sells. All right, probably you can share about the products itself. Probably you can share about the experience that you have had together with the business, with your business partner. Probably the money that you have made in the past few months that you have been into the business. So, share your stories, all right? And then one of the common mistakes that people do is, they fail to manage distractions. Example, children, cell phones, television, radios, and other distractions. All right. And then one of the common mistakes that people do during the home meeting itself is, not to they actually fail to prepare the presenter about the profiling about their guests. Probably before even the presenter comes in, probably you can tell who are the guests coming in, what are their backgrounds. Is he a lawyer? This guy is a negative person. This guy is an anti-MLM. This guy have been doing MLM, 20 times and failed 20 times. Probably that kind of preparation will actually help the presenter itself, and also your home meeting presentation. All right. So, and one of the mistakes that people do is afraid to do closing. The presentation can be good, the host can be good, the food can be nice, everything is good, but don't be afraid to do the closing. So a lot of people, some of the people, not everybody, but one of the common mistakes that people do is too afraid to do the closing. All right. And then the last two parts I'm going to talk about is not following up with the prospect. Some people can't decide then and then, all right? Which is good. The next day after your presentation, after your home meeting, it's to call them, probably to meet them and ask them, how do you think? What do you think about the presentation itself? What do you think about the product? What do you think about the business opportunity? Probably that's how you can follow up, all right? And the last part is not having products available for them to test and see. People buy the products because they believe and they trust. So it's good to build their trust, is to have some sampling, some products, all right, for your guests. Before we end this home meeting lesson, this video lesson, I just want to share with you one story, one very inspiring story of why until today, wherever I am, I've not stopped doing the home meeting, and probably this story can inspire you. I think if you have embarked into 4Life, definitely you know by the name of Platinum International Diamond Dave Daughtry. There's one day, many years back, probably about 15, 16 years back, all right? Dave flew to the island of Puerto Rico to meet one guy by the name of Dr. Jimeno Nevarez, all right? So Dr. Jimeno Nevarez was hosting a home meeting, and in attendance, one of his guests was Juan Rosado. Today he's a Platinum International Diamond, and I forgot those names. But I remember that Dave told me this story. Dave Daughtry told me this story. When he flew to Puerto Rico, he got nothing. He had nothing. He was supposed to meet a few prospects, but I don't know whether he met those prospects or not. But when he attended this home meeting hosted by Dr. Jimeno Nevarez, there were 5 people that attended that home meeting presentation, and today these 5 people that attended to their home meeting, it's either they are a platinum today or minimum they are a gold international diamond. So today, under the organization of Dr. Jimeno Nevarez, I think there are more than 10 platinums and probably more than 80 gold international diamonds. So when I heard this story by Dave Daughtry, who flew from the United States to Puerto Rico just to do a home meeting, and in that house itself, in that presentation itself, he himself met 5 business builders that today is a proven success. So probably this story can inspire you to do more home meetings, to host more home meetings. And then I would urge you today, all right, in order for you to build a successful and build a huge organization in your network marketing business, I would suggest that start doing the home meeting. So contact your upline or the presenter itself as soon as possible after watching this video and confirm the date and time of when you are going to host that home meeting. I assure you, your organization is going to be really huge. Thank you, goodbye, PNT success.
Hi guys, Fadli here. So today I'd like to share with you guys about home meeting, how home meeting have helped me in this business. So number one, home meeting is the fastest way for me to get the people and share with them about this business opportunity. Okay, number two, it helps me to grow my business so fast that I hit my QD, my first level, my first rank in 2 months. Okay, so and the third one is it helps me to grow my consumer base fast. Okay, so I would like to say to all of you to quickly do your home meeting as fast as possible and as many as possible. Okay, so in order for you to be successful in this business.
Hi everyone, my name is Mardiana. For those of you who are watching this video, here are the 3 reasons as to why you should do your home meeting right away. So firstly, it helps to boost my confidence level, whereby I'm actually a very shy person, but after doing a few home meetings, I am no longer shy. Okay, so secondly, it helps to make my relationship more closer, my family and my friends. And also thirdly, it helps to boost my networking business. It helps to in the growth of my networking business. And also for those of you who are still waiting, please do it now because you can see tremendous improvement in doing home meeting.